Hey friends, happy Tuesday. We're going to continue learning about different forces with lesson 35. So today we're going to learn about speed and velocity and what forces really are. So some vocab, I've highlighted your new words that you've got to focus on, and we've got a couple review words. So speed is how the position of an object changes over time. Velocity is the speed of an object in one direction. So these two words are very similar. The difference is that velocity tells us the direction. So which way are we going? North, south, east, west, whereas speed simply tells us how fast something is going or how slow something is going. And then a force is any type of push or pull, and we're going to give some examples of that. Our two review words are gravity, which is a force that pulls objects to earth, and then friction, which is a force when objects rub together, and this slows them down. If you try and rub your hands together, if you push them together really hard, it's very difficult to do that. So that friction slows objects down. Measuring speed. So we describe motion based on how fast or slow it is going, right? We might say, wow, that car went really fast, or I'm walking very slow down the hallway. Excuse me, tickle in my throat. And we measure time using hours, minutes, or seconds. So when we're talking about speed, we are dividing, so we got a little math, we're dividing how far it goes by the time it takes to get there. So if you walk 30 meters in 15 seconds, your speed is going to be 2 meters per second because 30 divided by 15 is 2. If we were to go 20 miles in 2 minutes, we would do 20 divided by 2, which is 10. So I would go 10 miles per minute, okay? You might recognize that by when we talk about the speed of a car. We've usually got this backslash, which means per. So if you're going 35 miles per hour or 50 miles per hour, that means every hour, that's how many miles that's going to be traveled going that speed. So we do measure speed using time. It's two different measurements. We think about how far they went, and we think about how fast it took them, okay? All right, so velocity is very similar to speed, except that we're going to say which direction we are going in. So let's say you are walking towards the west. To add on to our previous example, velocity, all we would do would add, oops, I wrote west here and east here. You get the point. Either way, let me change it quick. All you're doing is adding the direction that you're traveling in. So this is all the same as speed. This is what makes it different, the direction you're going in. So think about a race. All the runners are going the same direction. They might all be traveling west or east or whatever, but their velocities are different because they run different speeds. So maybe I'm going 2 meters per second, whereas maybe Mrs. Williams is going 5 meters per second, or Miss Krause is going 3 meters per second. We're going different speeds, even though we're traveling the same direction. So think about the tortoise and the hare. They were going the same direction, but they were going at different speeds. All right, so forces. We've got pushes and we've got pulls, and then we've got gravity. I use that picture of outer space because we know in outer space there is less gravity. On Earth, we have lots of gravity, which is why we stay on the ground. If we were to go onto Mars or the moon, it would not be that case. We'd be floating around a little bit more. So thinking about pushes and pulls, you can push somebody on a swing. You can push a door open. You can pull a door open. There's lots of different ways that we do pushes and pulls every single day. Think about pulling somebody on a wagon, pulling your friend down the hallway. This snowplow gives examples of both pushes and pulls, so let's talk about that. The plow is pushing the snow forward. As you can see, based on our reference points here, this car is moving this way. So this snow is being pushed forward, but it also has friction against the ground. As you can see right here, and you can hear it when the plows are outside, the bottom of the plow is going against the road. This causes friction and it slows that plow down a little bit. So that friction is pushing up against the plow and it slows it down a bit, which means it has to work harder to push forward. So this is an example of both pushes and pulls. We've got the snow plow pushing forward, but we've got the friction pulling as it slows the plow down. All right. So lesson 35, let's read our questions real quick and then I'll let you get started. Number 1, speed is measured using time, true or false? 2, the difference between speed and velocity is it the direction, the distance, or the friction? 3, if Miss Williams and Miss K are racing, why would their velocities be different? So think about that race slide. Number 4 has pictures. Which is an example of a pushing force? So we're looking for pushing. Number 5, is friction an example of pushing or pulling? And number 6, what is gravity? Use that vocab slide. 7 and 8, I want you to give me another example of a pushing force and a pulling force. Don't repeat what I've already given you. All right, remember to use those slides. Get on Zoom. If you need help, we are here for you. We miss you. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Goodbye, Adams.